Hey.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Andromeda 7, your celestial gateway, your channel for community support, help, friendship, love, knowledge, and just plain being of value
No
to
sound,
others.
Lori. No sound.
No sound, huh?
I can hear it.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I thought so.
I can
All
hear
right.
Lori.
Yeah, I can.
We can.
No sound.
They can hear me. They can hear me.
I can hear you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, guys.
It seems like our sound episode is off with some sound problems.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Kind of threw me off
It's
there.
kind of ironic and interesting, right?
Yeah, all in the same breath.
Yes, it is.
Oh, bear with me here. We're trying to get Teresa back on here. So tonight's program is about the benefits of sound and color therapy. We're sharing a lot of some knowledge that we've just kind of come into and have been exploring lately. And Teresa's been using it a lot to help heal her knee and some of the ailments that she's experiencing. And she's been getting a lot of really good effects from it. A lot of listening to certain. Here she is, right here. Here we go. Can you hear us now?
Now I can.
Okay.
Remember when I went to do the share screen to play the video?
Yeah.
It does something and it leaves me a message from StreamYard saying I need custom sound or something. So excuse me.
Okay.
I just saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, we were talking about if you don't take control over your own health, everything else around you will. So self-healing practice is an art form requiring discipline and experimentation. And most of all, a strong desire to heal, along with the belief that you can and will succeed. Intent and belief is paramount to the success. And also, we'd like to acknowledge, the Andromeda 17 would also like to acknowledge that holistic healing does not necessarily replace medical treatments by medical professionals. We're not suggesting that anyone there currently medically approved health plans. We just believe when we use it along with medical treatment, holistic practices may prove to be very beneficial to our overall health. And that's why today we're sharing the information that we're learning about this topic. And I'll send it over to you, my sweet sister, Teresa.
All right. Well, first of all, greetings, everyone, and welcome Max Vision Remote Viewing.
Yes.
Hello. Welcome.
Our king of sound himself.
Yeah, he's getting already in the background there. I'm loving it.
He does a lot of research into this and
Yes, he does.
shares a lot of information. So we are thrilled to have him with us tonight. And he and Dalibor, I know, are going to go round and round on a few things. And, and Grandpa Brian, you know, with the Reiki healing and the drum group that he's with uses sound all the time when they're doing the healing. So go ahead, Lori.
Yes,
if you're not familiar with Max Vision's channel, just in the YouTube, just put into the search Max Vision Remote Viewing and click and subscribe to his channel. He has so much to offer and he does a lot of this stuff. So we're super excited to have him with us today. So thanks for being here.
Yeah. Well, we'll
Thank
just
you for having me.
allow some folks to trickle in here so you can do a chat room greeting once
Sure.
What I'll do right now is just give a brief there's something I wanted to read to you from a Sufi musician, healer, and mystic. And hi, Trina. I just saw Trina. There's a quote from Sufi musician, healer, and mystic. His name, you might be familiar with him, is Hazrat Khan, Khan.
Mm-hmm.
He says, a person does not hear sound only through the ears. He hears sound through every pore of his body. It permeates the entire being.
Mm-hmm.
And according to its particular influence, either slows or quickens the rhythm of the blood circulation. It either wakens or soothes the nervous system. It arouses a person to greater passion, or it calms them by bringing him peace. According to the sound and its influence, a certain effect is produced, so sound becomes visible in the form of radiance. This shows the same energy which goes into the form of sound before being visible is absorbed by the physical body. In that way, the physical body recuperates and becomes charged with new magnetism. So he's basically reinforcing the notion that a deep relationship between music and neurobiology indicates a further understanding of how sound and music can modify the nervous system. It could have implications for developing mind, body, spirit therapies that are effective not only as adjuncts, but as central treatment modalities in rehabilitation and therapies. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to touch on EMFs and how those sound energies can sing within our stem cells. We're going to talk about DNA, how it affects our DNA, and cell biology in terms of our cytoskeleton. And we're going to show you some examples and share with you some stories that we're aware of healing that we have on a personal level. We've all the panel here has experimented to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some links, valuable links that we'll share with you for research so you can go on your own and
they're in the description for everyone, just so that you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
So with that, Lori, you want to say hi to folks?
Yeah, let's say hi. We got Scotty Boy in the house. Good to see you, Scotty Boy. Welcome. Smoking in G sharp. Oh, I hope you're loving Arizona. Great place to live. Truth Seeker, always a pleasure to see you. Thank you for being here. Jeannie Musgrave and Michael, good to see you both here. Thank you. Pa Joe, wonderful. Oh, welcome, Kindred Spirit Tarot. So good to have you with us tonight. Wow, that's a real treat and pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Elderberry, Squirrel Buddy, how's it going? Let's see. Lucky Smith, favor and grace upon you as well, Lucky Smith. Let's see. Beloved Abstract, good to have you with us. Hope you're enjoying your libations. Trina Phoenix, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you, sister. Always a pleasure.
Yep.
And Gogo, wonderful to see you. Thanks for being here. Always very pleased to see you in the chat room. And let's see, who else do we have? I think we pretty much got everybody for the moment. I don't think I missed anybody. Nope, we're good. So welcome, everyone.
Everybody. Okay.
Yeah, the tribe is here.
Hi, guys. I finally see everybody. I was on over on another channel. I couldn't see anyone. There we are.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, Scotty boy. How you doing?
I'm just clicking on Trina's notepad right now.
Awesome.
There you go. Just in case.
Okay.
Check your phone, Trina Bean. All right. So, and Sophia, hi, sweetheart. I hope your dad's doing better. I hope he is. Listen, folks, there's another member of the team who can't be with us tonight, Karen Kesparloff. She is still in either transit or dealing with her dad's situation. He may have ascended by now. I'm not sure.
Sending her a lot of love and support.
Yeah,
we miss her.
Lots of love and support.
Yep.
So she's dealing with that and settling into her new digs, and we wish her well. And she'll be back with us soon. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, she will.
And as you all know, David Knoll made it back home from the hospital day before yesterday. So this was day 2 back from the hospital, and they've already sent somebody out to evaluate him and talk to him about some things. So
how's he doing?
Well, He's doing well under the circumstances. He's got a little bit of discomfort still from the pneumonia.
Mm-hmm.
He starts having breathing issues.
Mm-hmm.
He's taking the nebulizer treatments and
Okay, good.
cutting way back on the smoking.
I hope so.
But it's still, that's difficult to do after all those years, you know.
No doubt about it.
Age 13 to age 70,
That's a long-term relationship right there.
And I know because I started at 13 and I'm 62 and
Yeah.
I'm sucking on grapefruit cubes and drinking lemon water. So
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it's
It
not
is
easy.
Not easy.
It's
no,
not
no.
easy.
Uh-uh.
So anyway, so that's good news. I just wanted to share that with you.
Yeah. Thanks for doing that.
Well, folks, this is an organic discussion here, but I thought we would start off with talking about how the sound actually affects us at a very deep level within our cellular biology and within our DNA. And so just so the folks know out there that might not be as aware of it, the cytoskeleton is a complex network of interlinking proteins, filaments, cytoplasm, excluding bacteria. Okay. It extends from the cell nucleus to the cell membrane, and it's composed of similar proteins in the various different organisms. Now, it's composed of three components: microfilaments, intermediate filaments, and microtubules. And they're all capable of rapid growth or disassembly, depending upon the cell's requirements. Cytoskeletal structures are dynamic modulators of subcellular, cellular, and intercellular information that coordinate biological regulation across an atomic, molecular, organic level. So it creates a biofield. So the notion of a field of dynamic bioinformation creates this biofield, and sound penetrates that biofield and gets down to the cellular level and sings with, either through music or tones like singing forks and so forth, sings with it. And that's when we say it's at our frequency. And that's why we have different frequencies that affect us in various different ways. So that's basically what they're saying.
Are you saying frequency affects frequency?
Yes. It interacts with the frequency in our own, just like we have light in our own cells and DNA, and we get activated by light codes or light vibration. We also do the same with sound. So it's not just you could put your fingers in your ear and still feel sound vibrating through your body when it's playing in the room, because it gets through the skin.
There are those piezo headsets, piezo, what do they call them? Speakers. You just put them on. They just go right on your skin, and it's a speaker.
Sound is absorbed through your skin,
and
so that makes sense.
You can hear the music through your skin. You can put it on your arm and still hear it, because it'll go through your skeleton.
What they do for folks in the hospital is they put them right on their arms. Like if you had a brain injury like I did, and I think Doug Stack had it. I know David Knowles had brain injuries. They will put that on your arms, your forearms and your hands, and you will feel the pulse. And it's a sound pulse that goes straight through to your bone, you know? What were you going to say, Brian?
Well, I was just going to say that, I was just going to say that sound is actually the most basic way that humans communicate. That it's
most powerful sense you have.
Yeah, it's just as important a sense as vision. Because that's the most basic way that one human communicates with another one. And tone is just another word for frequency, where basically every organ of the body has its own tone or frequency, just as every mood has its own tone, every intention has its own tone. You know, if I start cursing at somebody in my language, you could pretty much tell. Despite, even if you don't speak my language, you can tell that I'm cursing at you, just by the tone.
By your tone,
By your tone,
Animals same way. They don't know what you're saying, but they know that tone. They know the frequency. So, good point. Really good point.
That is a good point. Now, up until recently, I wasn't really aware of the use of EMFs. We used to check electromagnetic frequencies doing paranormal investigations, because if those sounds, if those frequencies are in a room that you're investigating, they can interfere with your ability to detect other spirits and things, and they can give you migraines, they can make you nauseous, and so you might be overcome during an investigation and think it's a spirit acting on you, or you might start getting paranoid and experiencing all kinds of weird out things, So we use EMF detectors to make sure that we're not dealing with old wiring and things like that that can interfere during an investigation. But when it comes to sound, it's used as a sound energy tool to restore healthy cellular dynamics. It reprograms DNA structure and lets loose the self-healing mechanisms within your own DNA. I had no idea that that's what it was doing. And is that the concern, Max, with, 5G? Is that what made you and your wife sick, was EMFs from 5G?
I'm not sure that it was 5G, but it was EMFs. We had one incident downtown where both of us got struck with something, and it may have just been hey Chloe, could have been just converging beams, or because we were in city, a lot of glass, a lot of metal, and we got a good dose of something, and it made you nauseous, and it took your legs out, made your vision go.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Mary wins. She does gardening, and she's out in her garden, and she's near a 5G tower, and it was having its effects on her. I don't want to speak for her, but I know she went through that. And so I know that there's concerns about EMFs in a detrimental way to your health.
Yeah.
What I didn't know is that there was a positive use for them for healing.
Yeah. They in the 70s, when they were talking about the wireless network come out, they put out a popular mechanics magazine that basically claimed that these cell towers, everybody was going to be happy because they were just going to transmit a frequency that was going to make us happy and energetic.
Not so easy.
Boy, did that go wrong.
Oops. Next, they'll charge us for it, right?
What they decided to do was use a frequency that tunnels into your pores of your skin. It's the perfect size that it will burrow into your skin and disrupt cells inward. They kind of took a wrong turn on that one.
But now I'm wondering if the sound technology that the ancient Egyptians were using, there's been a lot of speculation that inside the pyramid, they were working on regeneration. You could go in there and they were like some type of regeneration chamber. And we have found through scientific study now and application that EMF sound energies can, they say, sing with your stem cells, and even with non-stem cell adult somatic cells, to reprogram cell gene expression and fate. I'm reading this, folks, so I'm not this smart. Okay. Activate natural repairing abilities, counteract cellular aging processes, paving the way towards unprecedented strategies of regenerative medicine. So they're working on regenerating and rebuilding cell tissue, which is why I think I've been having such great success with my own personal healing sessions.
Well, the Great Pyramid itself is one giant resonating chamber, and they've demonstrated this many times. Like if you make a sound like inside the King's Chamber, you can hear it all the way at the bottom inside the grotto. And if you've been inside, it's huge.
I heard it resonates at 432 naturally on its own.
Really?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
On its own. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, what do you know? Now, I think it would blow my mind if, what's the God frequency? Perfect.
432.
Yeah.
Is that 432? I thought there was another one. Okay.
Max, you've got an app on your phone that allows you to access these tones. Could you do a 432 for us, just out of curiosity, so people can kind of hear that?
Oops, wrong way. So there's 432.
So you mentioned that you listen to this at night when you sleep, and you listen to it at a very low volume as well.
What I listen to is 432 and 528.
Okay.
432 is DNA repairing. 528 is RNA repairing.
Gotcha.
Turn these both up.
Also, everybody in chat, he's using an app. It's a frequency sound generator. So if you're interested in downloading it, go to the Play Store and look up for a frequency sound generator.
I have links to that one for you guys.
Wonderful.
I'll put them in the chat.
This way you can access the sound yourselves and you can experiment with it.
It's an awesome app.
Can you show the front of your phone so they can see what the app looks like? That's great. Let me pull that up for you. There we go. Frequency sound generator. Download it, everybody. Check it out.
Okay. I use this one during the day, and I use my computer at night. Because during the day I'll use an energetic frequency like 852 or something like that.
Gotcha.
A higher frequency. But these are great for DNA, RNA repairing. At night when you sleep, I wake up and I bounce out of bed. I don't, it doesn't matter what kind of night I had. I just bounce out of bed. You feel refreshed, really. You feel refreshed and rejuvenated. Listen to it at a very low frequency if you do it.
Yeah, really important.
Okay, very important to do it at a low volume so you can barely hear it. With all of these frequencies, you really want to keep them low.
Not blast them like disco music.
Do not blast them, okay?
Yeah. Also note that when you're listening to this, even if you're asleep, subconsciously, your brain, your ears, everything is still functioning, so it's absorbing it. So I don't know about anybody else, but I tend to fall asleep with my headphones in my ears. So if I'm listening to something, I'm getting it on a subconscious level. So
it will affect you. It'll have an effect even if you just use headphones beside you.
Right.
Like
as long as you can hear the tone.
I've done. No, if you don't even have to really hear it.
Really?
Yeah.
Just the vibration itself.
Just the vibration itself coming through, as long as it's close enough. Yeah. It should have some effect. Yeah.
Yeah. They say that as you get older, that you can hear a smaller and smaller range of frequencies. That the younger you are, the higher the frequencies you can hear, and the lower the frequencies you can hear. Like for example, I noticed that anything below 50 hertz, I can't hear it.
That's true.
I've had borderline hearing tests that after the accident that showed a significant decrease in my ability to hear high pitched sounds and frequencies.
What you guys can do is experiment right here.
Yeah.
But even if you can't perceive it, your body is still reacting to it.
Most people will stop hearing stuff at, I think it's around 70, like you said, I think. We'll go down quicker.
I still hear it.
I hear it.
Yeah, I don't hear anything now.
I hear it.
Okay, 137, 135.
I hear it.
You hear it? Okay.
Oh, there we go.
I don't hear it anymore.
120.
Okay.
110. 110's barely audible.
Yeah, and I have
fascinating.
A chart. We're going to go over different ones that are good for different things in just a minute. There's a paper that's also in our YouTube link, Jeannie. It's a research paper. You'll see it in the YouTube description. It says, while molecular and gene expression rhythms affect the entire individual, it's been shown that the reverse also occurs. Recent advances in neurobiology, psychosocial genomics, and genomics, and research on yoga, meditation, and other mind-body disciplines have shown that emotional states, cognition, states of stress and relaxation, and psychosocial factors can strongly affect genome function. The deep-seated biodirectional flow of information branching between the atomic, molecular, organismic, and psychosocial levels produces a dynamic biofield where our consciousness, emotional expression, and social behavior are intimately interwoven with our molecular and gene expression patterning. So it's all three. It's consciousness, it's your mood, your emotions, and social behavior. Now, I found that to be interesting. Do you remember back in the 70s when they were saying our music was affecting our teenagers in such a way it was bringing out aggression and hostility?
Yeah.
And the playing records backwards was satanic and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think they just said that to sell records.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I never heard any of that stuff as a teenager, you know. Go ahead, Dalbor, you were going to make a point there?
Yeah, I thought you were referring to a different paper, but that paper that you sent me that's posted on the NIH website, that's by Newsom and Ventura, titled Life Rhythm as a Symphony of Oscillatory Patterns, Electromagnetic Energy and Sound Vibration Modulates Gene Expression for Biological Signaling and Healing. Well, that's a very good paper because it basically tells you that every frequency has some kind of an effect on every single living organism or aspect of an organism. That is going down to the cellular level. So it's very important to know, and at much lower energy levels than you would think, because a lot of these naysayers who say that 5G has no effect on the human body because the energy levels are so low. Well, they're wrong, because you actually need very little energy levels to trigger a negative or a positive effect. I mean, I when I go looking at houses, I take this little thing with me. It's a tri-field meter, and it's very sensitive. And the closer I put it to the computer, notice that it starts turning red. And if I bring it back, it's turning green.
Put it close to the back of your computer. It'll just fly off the chart.
I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure it will. And so it's quite sensitive. If you turn on a microwave, you can register this like very accurately.
So it's picking up the frequency.
Yeah, and you can
all the different.
You can actually see at which point you should be standing so that you don't get any significant radiation from it. And every microwave oven gives off some kind of a frequency that's injurious to human health.
Yep.
And Grandpa Brian just reminded me the other day, one of the most successful, and a lot of us have had this without realizing what was really going on in terms of what we're saying at a cellular level, but focused ultrasound technology that's being used in these hospitals to help treat things like tumors. And in my case, it was kidney stones. And I think, Lori, either you or a family member had an experience
Gallstones.
Gallstones.
Not me, but a family member, yes.
Brian, what did you find out about that when you had a video, and we put that link in YouTube as well? What impressed you about that?
What impressed me the most was how they focused all that energy. They used several, up to 10 of those at one time, and they focus on a point. And I learned that they can actually put medicine like chemo in that and directly shoot it right into the middle of that tumor. And now that chemo is not going through the body. Also with the focused ultrasound, you don't have radiation. So you're not getting that radiation poison. It's not dragging you down. From what I've seen, most of them are outpatient. Patient goes in there for a couple of hours, gets treatment, and they're out that afternoon. And it was amazing to see.
There a lady that had a huge cystic fibroid in her uterus, and she opted not to do the cancer, the typical cancer
radiation therapy.
Yeah, exactly. And so they did that. That was an amazing outcome for her because it did destroy the tumor. It broke it down.
What they do up here is they cross two beams on the spot where the cancer is, and that'll break it up.
Yeah, from the inside out.
I have a Hulda Clark Rife generator that I made myself based on specifications.
Interesting.
And I use this to basically cure myself of a tumor I had on my foot. It's very simple. You just turn it on, and it's got 2 copper electrodes.
Okay.
You can't. Maybe
I can hear the frequency. Yes, we could hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. See?
Wow.
And only when you touch it do you hear the frequency, and that goes through any 2 points that you apply this to. So naturally, I had one of these applied to my foot with a rubber band, so I could have my other hand just holding one of the electrodes.
Wow.
And I'd be on my computer the whole day, and basically after about 2 weeks, it cured the tumor. It was gone.
I'll be darned. Dalibor, leave it to you.
Yeah,
no crap.
How did you make that? What did you make it out of? I'm curious.
Well, it's very simple. I just follow the plans that were online, and it's just one component, and you can buy it at Radio Shack. I forget what the frequency is, but it's just a 9-volt battery. Let me see. It's just a 9-volt battery and a switch, and that's it.
Darn.
It's very simple.
Yeah, wow. I'll say. Fascinating.
It's
that's awesome.
Yeah, I forget exactly what the frequency is, but it's really easy to hook up, and anybody with basic skills can do this.
Yeah, it's interesting. Smoking in G Sharp says a frequency clothes washer was invented.
Oh, yeah.
But it would put the laundry detergent out of business. Absolutely. That's what it's all about. Money.
Yep.
Oh, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. That's the sonic showers on Star Trek. They go into a shower booth and they close the door. There's no water, and it's sonic bath.
Yeah.
Cleans them off. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
Yeah. Okay. So now we also have, hang on a second. I want to show you some research here. Well, actually, let's go to the
another important frequency for people to listen to is 7.83 hertz.
Right.
That's the Schumann resonance. That's the resonance of the Earth. There's we should probably spend some time on those too. But 7.83 is the Schumann resonance, and there's also others that like they rise up in frequency following a pattern of the Schumann resonance frequencies.
What's a good healing frequency?
432.
Many, but yeah, 432. Like, I have lists. Like,
yeah, I'm going to bring one up too here.
I have lists of frequencies for every different thing. Pretty much.
Wow. Yes, you do, don't you?
Wow. You're further along than I am. I've only got about 5 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some sequences that are
awesome.
that might primary harmonics of the Schumann resonance. So the first one is 7.8. The second is 14.07. The third is 20.25. Fourth is 26.41. Fifth is 32.45. The Earth's magnetic field is different than the Schumann resonance. It's at 11.75 hertz, and it changes a little bit around the equator to 7.9. And there are higher Schumann resonance frequencies as well. And these all follow sequences. Like the most healing ones follow sequences. Like, here's do, re, mi, fa, lo, sol, la, ti, do. Okay,
so that's a scale.
In frequency. So it starts 369, 417, 528, 639, 741, 852. In these, the emotional, this is just the emotional ones that I did on this one, not the physical healing. So you can have, like, from the beginning, liberation of guilt, undoing of situations, facilitating change. 528, transformation, miracles, DNA repair. 639, connecting relationships, connections and relationships. These are things that can open up different things in your mind and body.
What would you recommend, Max, as something that a beginner could, you start working with something kind of neutral and just the Schumann resonance, maybe something to that effect.
528, 432.
Okay, so 528 and 432 megahertz.
Hey, I got a question. Isn't 432 C middle C? I think it is. Because if you don't even need a computer to do this. If you have any kind of musical instrument, most musical instruments will be able to play middle C. And
most instruments these days are tuned to 440. And
440.
Yeah, and that was done by the Germans back before World War II. They petitioned to retune all equipment to 440, which is disharmonious to the human body.
Right.
432 used to be it's half an octave down from 440. So 432 is what we used to tune all instruments to until World War II, when they changed it before World War II.
Well, I've been experimenting with 174 and 285. And 174 is solfeggio. Is that what they're calling it?
Solfeggio. Yeah.
A frequency series of tones used in sacred society, sacred music.
The list I just read you was the solfeggio frequencies.
Okay, so 174 is supposed to be associated with the reduction of pain and stress, and 285 is for open wounds, tears, pulls, ligaments, torn ligaments. So I've been using a mixture of 174 at night when I sleep, very low tone with the green light for healing, and then during the day, 2 25-minute sessions at 285 hertz to heal the tissue and regenerate the DNA. Now you're saying at a higher frequency, is it 432? I would also get optimal healing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there are certain frequencies that are played together, not very many of them. Most frequencies should be played solo.
It's interesting that mostly in music you play mostly chords. You know, like for example, the most common one would be like C major, which would be C, E, G, and that's 3 frequencies in one. And most chords have have 3 notes at the same time.
Well, interesting that you all bring that up, because there's something called the medical glove. It's for sound healing. When I was in rehab, oftentimes when you have a brain injury or brain trauma, you lose some of your speech, and you lose the ability to hold things. Like I was dropping things. You can't really grasp things. So they put these gloves on you, and there's an application, and it plays music, and it has these little dots coming down a pathway, and each pathway represents one of your digits of your finger. So as you're sitting there, they slowly get you to. So if a bead comes down and hits the first marker, it's your pinky. The second marker, third marker, fourth marker, fifth marker. So they've got you playing almost like a piano, and they gradually increase it. So there's these half-hour sessions every day, only once a day, but they have you playing both hands until you get that coordination and dexterity back, and it's all done with music. It's all done with music to get you to so they regenerate you. And the other was the sound that I told you about, that they actually pulsate sound through your body on your limbs. And so so it was 3 times a week, 1/2 hour each day, 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And within 2 weeks, I had my entire function back.
Wow.
That's great. Yeah, because you know why? Because by playing music like that, you're combining 3 of your senses. You're combining vision, sound, and kinesthetics, which means you like, for example, to play that C major chord, you would use your thumb, your middle finger, and pinky, 3 fingers. So, and you have to coordinate that. So that integrates different circuits in your brain to fire as one, to fire in a coordinated manner.
What's cool about it, though, is that patients who don't have any music, I don't know how to read music, but yet I play the guitar because I taught myself how to notes. I do it by hearing, not by reading music. But anybody, like, it doesn't matter what age you are, enjoys this game. They make a game of it. So it gets faster and it gets challenging, and so you're just like really into the music and you're playing it. So it has this psychological effect on your attitude as you're healing, and within a week or two, you're back to normal. It's remapping your brain way, your brain path through sound and music. Music is one of the most powerful healing tools there is. Music therapy is a huge part of sound therapy.
Definitely,
and it really
soothes the savage beast, they say.
And speaking of beast, actually, one of the first things I did when I started playing around with the frequencies is I was asking myself, okay, so what does 666 hertz do? And I don't know what it does, but it's very annoying. It's a very annoying sound.
Don't like that sound.
Yeah, after about 15 seconds, you're like, turn this off.
Well, 639 affects the heart chakra. It's associated with therapy intended to produce positive feelings and greater attunement to harmonious interpersonal relationships. At 639 hertz, exposure encourages clearer communication practices, situational awareness, and then as 852, it's associated with redirecting the mind away from overthinking, from intrusive thoughts, negative thoughts. So if you have a really crappy day and you're just like got all these negative thoughts, tune into some 852 hertz. So you could Google it out there. Or get the app that
852 is blue, is the color. Sorry, the color purple. The mantra for that is Aum.
Aum, okay.
And the pose, and these poses, the hand poses, amplify the frequency. So
mudras.
Yeah, that's a mudra.
The mudra and the mantra. So do the mudra and the mantra, and you will feel in the chakra zone where it is when you do the mudra and mantra together. And another good thing to do is to combine color. I have Bristol board colors over there that I put out and display when I do the mudra and mantra. So you can just keep your eyes open and look at a piece of Bristol board that is the color purple, blue. I haven't found violet. That's hard. But you can find all the other colors.
The violet flame. Wouldn't that be like the violet flame?
Yeah, violet up there at the top.
Yep.
Oh, he is so far ahead of me. This is what I've started doing. So I've started mapping different sounds for different body parts, like my lungs, my feet versus my knees. I'm just mapping it all out of what makes me feel best and writing the frequency down next to it. And then I have the colors associated with it. So you've been doing this for how long? Yeah. This is cool.
Years. Yeah. A few years.
Yeah, he's got it.
What are you showing for 963? 963. What are you showing there?
That's saying crown chakra.
That's the pineal gland activation, right?
Third eye is Aum. That's 852. I use 852 for class to activate the third eye.
Yes.
The crown chakra is above that.
That's 963 then. Frequency of the gods associated with crown. Connection to source.
That spot may actually be just a little bit outside of your body.
Connection to source. That's really
Teresa, cool. How long have you been doing this therapy?
Only for let's see, the combination of everything now. I guess it's been about 3 weeks.
Okay, and what have you been experiencing with your knee? How is that going? How does it feel? Are you in pain? What are you experiencing? What are you feeling? Can you share that?
Yeah. Well, last week I told you that I was getting less pain.
Okay. And you were in a lot of pain.
Yeah, I could barely walk.
Yep.
I'm walking now. I'm going up and down the steps, and I'm trimming the lawn out front. I walked in the store without using a scooter to get around in. So I'm walking now, taking the steps, not butt sliding anymore. I still have shooting pain every now and then when I turn a certain way. I still can't lift the leg normally off the floor and swing it forwards and backwards like I normally would.
Yeah.
Part of that is the joint issue, or not going to go away because there's no tissue there between the joints. But as far as the torn meniscus, it's healing.
Mm-hmm.
The compression sleeve has been helping as well, give me that extra feeling of support.
Mm-hmm. Those work
But
great.
the difference is that I'm not like last week and the week before when I was sitting here talking to you all on the show, I was in agony and you didn't know it. I was having to constantly keep moving my right leg while I was sitting here in this chair.
Wow.
Right now, I'm not rocking. I'm not throwing my body around. It's just really comfortable at the moment. The biggest problem I have right now is when you sit on a hard chair, and they have, you know how it has a frame, and if you're not got your butt scooted back far enough or you're too far forward, it cuts into the back of the thigh behind the knee, and it presses on the sciatic nerve. And that sends shooting pain through the torn meniscus and through the joint in the knee, as well as up on the buttocks. So I was having to lift my leg and lay it on a chair as I was sitting back in another chair to eat dinner. So I had to keep the leg and knee up off the floor and elevated, so I wasn't getting that swinging and that pushing against the nerve. But then you came along and sent me scalar energy one night for the hip, because that threw the hip out. So I was walking around for a week with a hip out. Lori worked on me for a while, and I used the sound and the lights and scalar from Lori. And I woke up the next morning and the hip was back to pretty much normal. And I'm like, how did that happen? Because I had been sleeping the same way all week trying to heal that hip. And it just did. It was that scalar energy, your intent combined with my intent, and then all the music and the sound frequency and the light. So the hip was healed almost overnight.
Wow.
And I've been careful not to lift the leg that way now and sit on it that way, because that was what threw the hip out. See, the left leg is doing all the work. My gait is thrown off.
Sure, yeah.
And so
that's why you're having the issues with your hip.
The hip twisted, and so it's like
you're out of alignment.
So now the hips pretty much healed. Okay. The tissue feels like it's being regenerated and back to almost normal. The only problem I have to deal with is the joint, but we know what to do about that because I did it before with the left knee.
Yeah, vitamin C. Vitamin C will regenerate cartilage. And tendons, because my mom, she did it. And I myself, like when we had the Andromeda 7 spring break, I had like 2 weeks of hell with my trigeminal nerve, where all the teeth on my left side and shooting up to my ear.
Wow.
Massive mega pain. And I did it with a combination of increasing my dose of vitamin C, which is an anti-inflammatory, local application of DMSO, and infrared, which is basically heat. So anytime the pain got too intense, I would just apply more heat, and that took it down a bit.
Yeah. I think the important thing to remember here is just to kind of experiment with this kind of stuff, and see what kind of works for you. And delve into it. Be curious about it, and see what you can do to help yourself.
I tell you, both Grandpa Brian and Lori are two
Grandpa Brian is very good
tapped in, powerful scalar energy healers.
Yeah. It is
They've both worked on me. I can feel them working on me. I feel the vibration. I feel the sensation. Lori put me to sleep, basically. And whatever she did, I was gone. And the next day I woke up, I'm like, ooh, I can dance if I want. But I was like, no, don't do that. But so scalar energy is very important in this. If you've got someone that you vibe with or a healer that you can work with that can help you. I send my angels do send me scalar, and that helps too, especially during the middle of the day. And then I do visualization. So I'm visualizing everything coming together. I told you about that last week. So all these things in combination actually are working for me. So, but I would be very interested in what kind of sound therapy I would have access to if, like the machine where they put the discs, just like they do the ultrasound, where they can see the baby in the womb,
Yeah, right.
There's sound therapy for your stomach. There's different devices But I don't think that they're available to the general public. I think they're only available through physical therapy through a doctor's office, right?
Mm-hmm.
But some of that technology would probably come in really handy, especially on my knee.
Yeah.
What you got there, Max?
I believe this is 432.
Looks
It might
like
be
a
five.
Mandela.
He does use
So
both.
this would be a visual of the frequency of sound, or that megahertz.
Yeah, this
right?
is. I believe this is 432. It could be 528. It's one of the two.
Wow.
But I believe that's the resonance of 432.
Yeah.
Very similar to the flower of life.
Right.
Hint there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Now, when you do sound, if you use water, if you put the sound close to water, you'll see that vibration that he's showing you right there. That's what's fascinating.
Playing the sound to your water is a very good idea. It's very healing. It will heal the water and you.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a tuning fork, and I was playing around with it in the bathtub, where when you strike I have a 432 tuning fork. When you strike that and you put that in the water, you'll see the ripples go out. If you have the right shape of container, you'll see that type of pattern.
Yeah.
Although I didn't see that same pattern in my bathtub because the bathtub is too big.
Gotcha.
You'll do it in the singing bowl. I did what Brian told me to do with the water in the singing bowl. You could see it. Oh, what's that?
There you go. So you've got the pineal, pine cone. Yeah, 528. And the crown chakra visual. So if you did this visual and you did the sound, boy, you'd really be covering all your bases,
and in the color. Got to do it in the
and
right
the color. Yeah, that makes sense. So bring all three of those.
Yellow, the solar plexus.
Yep.
So yeah.
So it
makes
can't hurt to give it a try. Can't hurt to try it. I mean, what do you have to lose?
Here's the resonance of some of the planets around us.
Yes. Wow, look at that. What is that red one at the top there? What is that? What is the red one at the top?
Oh, I have it upside down, but okay, that's Jupiter.
Okay. Interesting.
That one?
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's Jupiter?
Yeah. Fascinating.
Wow.
And the moon, look at how different the moon is. And Mars, wow. Venus.
So even the planets have their, we know that they all have their frequency.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I like that one at the top, the purple one.
Yep, that's the Sirius. Yeah. Wow. And the sun, look at the sun tone. That's fascinating. And
that
look
looks
at
like
the color.
That looks like a classical record, like a classical phonograph disc.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Trippy.
Oops.
Yeah. All right. So I wanted to share something with you from that Jules submitted. I just have to do a share screen to get to it. So just bear with me for just a second. So I click on this and share screen, entire screen, share.
You can also get charts like this that show you various different frequencies and their patterns.
That's fascinating. Yes. Wow.
Wow.
Look at that. Huh.
That's amazing.
It is.
Hang on. Try to bring this up.
Fantastic.
All right. I'm going to bring these up for a second, Max.
Yep.
Hang on just a second. No, that's right. I just didn't want to block yours rudely in any way. Can you all see these?
Yes, we can see it perfectly.
All right. So let me just pop into my note real quick because I have to bring up a thing for Jules. Soundhealoptions.com. Soundhealthoptions.com. It's in our links. Go to page. Just bear with me for just a second because I have to access it. I got a lot of things open on my desktop right now. All right. Okay. So there's an organization that a friend of Jules made her aware of. And I'm going to go to About Us. And it's kind of innovative in that it's all about preventative healthcare maintenance. It's about using sound to help you profile yourself. to identify potential, I guess, anomalies within your own DNA or potential diseases within your cellular structure that are latent, that are out there to possibly activate someday and make you really sick. So the theory behind this is that they have found a way to classify and map all of the frequency types. They're using like a profiling. So they're saying, okay, so folks that have diabetes often sound at this frequency of voice. They're using your own voice. So let me just read real quick.
Beautiful.
And, I don't know if you all have heard about this or not, but using sound to create an intrinsic restorative approach is a primeval tool brought forward into the modern era through the Institute of Bioacoustic Biology and Sound Health. To understand the basic biology and psychology of ourselves and others, sound health combines the ancient concept of using sound as a healing modality with modern computer technology. This is known as human bioacoustics. The concept of bioacoustic biology is a traditional science combining esoteric methods with scientific discovery. They advance the premise that the body, through the voice, can identify and prescribe for itself using algorithms of self-expressed frequency patterns to actually quantify, organize, and extrapolate biometric information. They have a profiling software application, and it utilizes the frequencies of the voice to create a matrix of biometric information from fundamental DNA to the hidden intentions of those who claim to speak for us. Medical facilities and schools. It could be used for military applications and police work for verification, research studies for issues thought to be incurable, to determine wellness patterns, to relieve stress of pain, to determine exposure to toxins and pathogens. So there is, you can go to this page. There's frequently asked questions here. There's some papers. They even have classes if you want to get to know them and have an analysis done on your own. And when I was reading this, I thought, oh, wow. What's cool about this is that, hang on a second, let me move this. Nano voice application here. It's kind of interesting because it's like, what if you don't know? Like, I happen to know my family history. I know that the people in my family, there's been a ton of cancer. Every generation, as far back as I can remember them telling me about. Diabetes, bad heart. I mean, I've got so many genetic markers, it's ridiculous. That doesn't mean I'm bringing it into my now and saying I'm going to get this. But what it does mean is that it's highly possible that something might crop up in the future. And so why not start my healing now to heal my cells and regenerate my DNA? Take a preventative measure before it becomes something that hits my reality, And then it got to thinking, what about all my friends who are adopted who never know, they don't even know where they
don't have
from.
That family history.
They don't have the family history, so they have no clue. And so out of sight, out of mind, well, that's good and everything, but then all of a sudden something crops up and really wipes them out. So wouldn't it be nice to know ahead of time that there are certain characteristics in your voice frequency? And folks, what they did is they built this huge database. And this database, actually, I'm going to close this right now. You could follow the link that we gave you and look into this further. I just wanted you to see what it looked like so you could be familiar with it.
All the links are in the description for you folks.
Did I stop sharing? Here we go.
There you go.
So, sorry.
No, you're good.
Getting used to the technology here.
You're doing great.
But they go, okay, so people have similar sounds when they have certain types of problems or when they have a genetic history.
They can recognize the frequency as a frequency that's going to cause a problem for you.
So they can send you a free report that you can send them a voice recording.
Wow. Fascinating.
They can do a report and analysis and send it back to you and say, these are possibilities. So if you want to focus your intent and your maintenance and healing on your holistic health plan to ward off potential threats in these areas, you could actually prevent a lot of illness.
That's extremely interesting, yeah. Because see, that's the thing. Any kind of very serious disease like cancer affects the entire body. So it's not going to just affect, the part of the body that's affected by it, like cancer, but it's going to affect everything about it. Because one interesting thing I noticed, like for example, when my uncle he died of lung cancer, and I noticed that whenever you would smell his breath, it smelled musty, just like a musty basement. And I was like, that's probably the disease process itself, because it's almost like a mold. It's almost like an aggressive mold that destroys everything that it touches. The cancer. Yeah, the cancer. But it was a weird type of halitosis in that it smelled just like a musty basement.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that just blew me away that they're actually able to do this, and they've got thousands of people signed up, but they have classes and workshops, and so it's just fascinating. If you want to go to that site and just check them out. I mean, I haven't gone any further than what I've just showed you myself, but because I pretty much know.
But you're delving into it.
I'm going to look into it because there might be some holistic modalities that I've overlooked that could help me with my existing situation.
Sure.
And Lori, you had a video that you shared with me about the science behind sound healing, and it had a neuroscientist and surgeon. What did he have to say about what struck you
it was
the
pretty
most?
much what Grandpa Brian was talking about with the infrared, the sound healing, where they're breaking up the disease from the body. So it's fascinating. And there's a gal on there that's interviewing him that has a practice and is helping people with it. So, and she's quite tuned in to it on a spiritual level as well. So it's exciting, new technology, innovative, powerful. It puts healing into your hands, which is fascinating. Not to impugn anything that a doctor or any of those kinds of practices or healing is for you, but it's just giving people an alternative way to holistically and naturally and healthy way to be part of your own healing. So it's fascinating information.
I think he said that something about how it reduces brain tumors.
Yeah, breaks them up.
Breaks them up and reduces them. Yeah.
Dissolves them.
So Max, what do you recommend for what do you have down there for problems with breathing or lungs?
Actually, I wanted to show you guys. Well, I was searching out something for elderberry there.
Sure.
I forget which frequency I told him before.
Okay.
He was having trouble sleeping, he says.
Yeah.
I was wondering what that was due to, elderberry. I gave you a frequency to get a sound sleep. But if it's due to muscle spasms, you can also play 6.8 hertz.
Ooh, I want that. 6.8 hertz.
Okay. Now, how I figured that out, I have all this stuff written down, but I also have an app. Let me go home.
Another app, huh?
I have another app called Z app. Okay. Can you see the icon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'll open that up for you. So there's the home page for it. And what you want to look up is sequences.
Okay.
What's the name of this app?
Z app.
I'll put a link for it in chat. Now you can see a listing there.
Sure.
Now, if you start typing something in, I started typing in muscle. So let's see. Go back. Let's see. Cool. What were you asking about?
Lungs, like breathing problems, pulmonary edema, or OCD.
Okay.
COPD, or asthma, or
so
chronic bronchitis.
We have lung cancer. We have lung sinus bacteria, lungs general condition,
Wow.
Narcotia
You break it
asteroides,
down.
pleurisy, or pneumonia or pneumonia
Pneumonia.
bronchial. Yeah.
All right, so pneumonia bronchial.
So these are all the things you can look up. You just start typing it in, and it starts searching.
Yeah.
Okay. Pneumonia bronchial.
Uh-huh.
And then it'll give you what the tones
So I'll
that
give
you
you.
can listen
I'll
to.
give you a sample. Let me turn it down
Okay.
first, or it will
Sounds
probably blast us out of here.
Truth
So you
Seeker
want your-
says Z-App has a sequence for every possible disease. So she's familiar with it. That's interesting.
So it's going to play this particular frequency for about 2 minutes, and then it will move on to the next one. And it will play all those in sequence until it's done.
Wow.
For that condition.
So how often would you make use of it? Would you do it when you're discomfort, or would you do it for like a regular intervals throughout the day, or how does that work?
You could use it over and over and over again for any condition that you have until it's relieved.
Fascinating. So there's
wow.
2 apps everybody wants to check out, and that's the Z app that he just mentioned, and also the frequency sound generator would be 2 really good places you could go right now.
And
you put them in chat? You put the links in chat?
I haven't put the other one in yet.
Okay.
He will.
Okay. Cool. Because I'm going to download those, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
Where are we here? And you can isolate frequencies on this app as well. Like if you find a frequency that you've played a sequence and you find one really resonates with you, you can just do you can just have frequencies. So it has thousands of frequencies.
Wow.
Wow.
That you can play individually in a loop or for 2 minutes or so.
And you can set the time for each sequence and frequency and play it as
You
often as you want to.
You can either loop it or you can play it for 2 minutes.
That's what I wanted to know. Thank you, Truth Seeker. That's what I wanted to know. Because I would imagine that particular sound, I couldn't take more than 10 minutes of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But still.
Yeah. So, as I say, you have to listen to them very low.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one that I think we can all benefit from. Chemtrail detox.
Oh, definitely.
There you go.
Oh, you're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. COVID. I think COVID is in here as well.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
what's the frequency for that?
For COVID, it'll be a sequence. It will be a sequence.
Right.
Well, that center that I just showed you has a whole section on COVID and sound therapy for dealing with that. Yeah.
I pulled it up on my main machine, so I'm going to check it out. Definitely.
No COVID.
Yeah, the one.
There it is. There it is. Coronavirus novel. 2019. Yeah. So, yep. Corona novel.
I'll be darned. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. No, this is updated on a constant basis.
But look at that! It has different ones for it had. It had a different one for the Wuhan.
Yeah, this is an amazing app that everybody should have. Both of those apps, really, I can't stress enough how much they can improve your life.
Yeah.
Oh man,
wow.
thank you, John.
Like there are frequencies for energy that you can just play in the background on this app during your day, and at the end of your day, you won't be tired. You know. There's so many benefits that people can get from these. I just can't stress it enough.
Yeah. Wow. Lots to
even
absorb
just going to YouTube.
Yep.
I do that quite often too. You just
oops,
let me go back.
See, I've noticed that when playing some of these lower frequencies, they sound a lot like the background fans that I keep around here, because just my main machine has 3 fans in it, and each one of those gives off its own frequency that I can barely hear, that I'm being exposed to.
I haven't typed anything in there in the search engine, and that's the suggestions. So when you type you type that into YouTube, frequencies for happiness, frequencies for muscle pain. And once you find out, there are some of them will tell you what frequencies they're playing, some of them won't.
Yeah,
but once you find out what frequency they're playing, you can use your player and play that frequency for yourself.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Now, see, I found 2 for osteoarthritis, bone and joint pain, and they don't tell you the frequencies.
Yeah.
But I have been using them, and I started out with singing bowls, just singing bowls in color. Then I added on the frequencies, and now I'm doing a mixture of both, a blend of both, and it's working for me.
Yeah.
I think that what folks, it's consistency and a routine. So you have to have the discipline to set aside what you need, and just say, I'm going to do this every night for so many minutes, or I'm going to do it all night when I'm sleeping. And then if you have time during the day, I always have my morning meditations and talk to my guides. But then during the middle of the day, I lay down because I can, because I'm home.
Yeah, so you can.
But so I can. So I dedicate 20 or 25 minutes to it. So it's just get into a routine. It could be every other day, it could be every day, and do it consistently until you feel things changing and transforming. And then before you know it, and chart it out, see what works for you best. There might be one sound that works better for you than another, but and I also still use the crystals. I'm still using the crystals.
Yep.
Like what John just showed you, that higher frequency with the color of purple. And the mandala that he's using as a visual, well, the Auralite would have been perfect for that particular one. The Auralite 23, right?
Yeah.
So
each one of those crystals has its own frequency that you got to take into consideration, so you don't have dissonance.
Yeah.
I would challenge you guys. Get this app.
Okay.
Set 1 to 432.
Okay.
1 to 528.
All right.
Okay.
Play that tonight when you're sleeping. Okay.
432.
One each at a time, or
no, both at the
together.
Same time. There
So
are
those
frequencies that go together.
So these 2 you can listen to at the same time. Okay.
Yes, there's 936 and 528 you can listen to together.
Okay.
528 and 432.
Okay.
And 432 and 8.
Okay.
Which app is that? Is that the Z app?
This is the frequency sound generator.
Okay.
Yeah, this one right here. Yep.
That's
it right there. And you can see what it looks like. So, yep. And everybody, these links are in the description. I keep popping them up for you.
Yeah, I just put them in the chat again. And that's what the icon looks like, the yellow one. Okay.
There's the Z app. Yep. Great. Wow. Well, this has been an amazing eye-opener for sure. Somebody is messing with. Are you messing with my?
No, I wanted to.
I never know with you. I know, bite me, right? I can hear that.
What frequency is going to bite your frequency? Let's go with the flow. No, I accidentally clicked the mouse when I was pointing at something for myself to highlight to make it bigger.
Yeah,
I wanted to make it bigger so I could freaking read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
So, how'd you even know I was doing that? All I did was point at it.
Pretty tuned into you here. I know you.
Chunky darn.
Yeah.
Can't get away with nothing.
No. We're coming to the end of the show here. And, we've given everybody a lot to really digest and think about. Yeah. And I think it's fascinating stuff. And it gives people a place to go and something to... another way to be proactive in your own health,
Yeah.
So
Well, here's the takeaway. It's not different. It's the same as last week, but for those who weren't with us, just here's your takeaway. Through the combined application of light, color, sound, and other holistic practices, we can achieve an optimal brain and body state of health and happiness. We do this through focusing on what we want, through meditation and intent. Visualize with the power of your intent and thank the body for functioning so perfectly, breathing light into every part of your body and every cell self. Let every cell know the truth and love of being here. This is what consciousness is about. So you could talk to your body. You could talk to your body and send it a lot of love and thank it, and be grateful. And people might think you're nuts, but who cares what others think? You know?
Yeah. Like
do it in private. Do it in private. I don't know.
Do it while you're walking or cycling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you engage your autonomic system in walking or cycling or something like that, you'll get responses from your body. You'll get energetic response. I do anyway.
Yeah. Well, makes sense.
Well, I always look at the counterpoint, and I figure if a frequency can heal you with specific diseases, then it's probably those diseases that you have could have been caused by your exposure to some kind of frequency that you might not even consciously be aware of.
Yeah,
I'm saying that it could be something as banal as the cooling fans in your computer, because I have a big desktop here with 3 fans in it, a separate fan for intakes, a separate fan for the processor, separate fan for video card. Then I have like the fan going in the room, and then I have the fan for the laptop over here. So that's like 5 different frequencies that are, subliminal that, are having an effect.
Boy, you have a lot of fans.
Yeah, exactly. We're still in the middle of a heat wave here. We're still in the middle of a heat wave here in Europe. So
same here. We're dealing with it here too. Yeah.
All right, folks. So next week, tune in.
Yes.
Next week for psycho-spiritual perspectives on levels of consciousness. As
the
we're
stages of levels in consciousness. Yes.
We're all leveling up in our own way to these optimal states of energy. So Lori refers it to leveling up, and every week we're leveling up to something different. And
eat the magic mushroom and level up like Mario Brothers.
Yes.
And I tell you, Max, to be quite honest with you, Max, you inspired that show next week, because when I was sitting in your I guess it was last weekend, you were doing levels of dimensions. You were talking about 3D, 4D, 5D. We were talking about levels of consciousness and how you get from one level to the other. You were talking about a 13th dimension coming back into self. And so I said to Lori, this was like a year ago, we were looking at this as a possible show topic. And our guides just nudged us and said, hey, this is perfect timing, because people are at various different understandings, and they're at various shifts in frequency.
Right.
So you might be at a certain shift, I might be at a certain shift, but we're fluctuating in between these different different energy states. And the idea is to get you shifted over to 5D completely, and then there's a full spectrum. So, and your 13th dimension matches the full spectrum.
But it's interesting that when we meet, we have to meet in the same dimension, the same dimension of consciousness, and that's like the usual consensus reality that we traditionally live in. You know, that's why if you have like one person who's high, literally, then that person's going to be kind of out of touch with the others. That's why usually a lot of these like consciousness altering techniques, like drugs or whatever, are done in a party context where everybody's doing them.
Well, which we vibe. It's kind of hard to get everybody,
get everybody on the same page
at the same time. But I think eventually we all converge in that spiral.
Sure,
we all end up with universal consciousness.
Well, there's techniques that you can use besides like actual ingestion of physical substances because like back in the early 2000s it was almost regarded as like a problem, the so-called eye-dosing phenomenon where like kids in high school were downloading different frequencies that would cause their brains to start firing in the same way as if they had been under the influence of various substances like alcohol, marijuana, whatever. And you could download like whole files, full of different frequencies, and I still have some of them from that original time.
Wow.
And they were like binaural beats, which is different
That's a
from
can of worms. Yeah.
listening to like just
Huh.
the frequency, because a binaural beat is like two different frequencies
Yeah.
that only mix inside your head.
Working together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Well,
I haven't done any
That's
work with
interesting.
binaural beats. I haven't expanded to that.
I've used it to get rid of headaches, and it's helped a lot.
Yeah, it does help with
some
that.
migraines. Yep.
It helps with
Absolutely.
migraines. And I'll tell you, there is something to be said, even though I started to make fun of it a little while ago about the 70s, 60s, well, it was mostly in the mid 70s. There is something to be said for mass hysteria, and sound can have an effect in a not so great way if you get a crowd worked up in a frenzy through a certain type of rhythm and a certain type of sound. The same can be held true for spiritual ceremonies where you're trying to create a sensation of elevation and raising consciousness. You could do the reverse too. It can have the adverse effect. You can take a group of people, it doesn't have to be kids, but you could take any group of people who are already upset about something. And if you're not playing the right kind of music, it could get them all worked up into this mass
or
frenzy.
Get
or the
them
opposite.
to take note of you.
That's the thing about rhythm. A lot of these rhythms work in very strange ways. Like the other day, somebody passed by. I live on a main street, and somebody passed by, and they were playing this song. I was like, "Yeah, that sounds pretty good," and the rhythm was really catchy, but it was kind of suspicious. So I wrote down the rhythm, and I looked it up in Morse code, and the rhythm was saying "okay, okay, okay," the letters "okay." So that made the whole song okay. It works.
It's a trip.
Yeah.
Wow.
So just like you use language, be careful what you think, and just like you think, and just how you think about things, be careful what you think. Your language, your thought, and even the kind of music. Sometimes, depending on your mood or what you do or don't want to bring into your reality, music has a very significant role in that. And do you remember, John? Do you remember all the research about subliminal programming through subliminal advertising? Well, they do the same thing with sound.
Yeah,
sound's a big part of that. Even the
they
CIA
use microwaves and sound to augment our emotions. I have an app that I use. It's ElectroSmart. I've told you guys about it before.
Another app.
I downloaded that. It'll tell you what your EMF levels are around you.
In my area, a 68
what you're being
makes
exposed
people
to.
agitated.
Yep.
A 72 makes them sick. So
mine was 81.
Wow. That's a really high reading for my area. Yeah.
Was it your neighborhood? You run this analysis on your neighborhood? Or
it's got every source that's around you. Here, I'll show you.
I have that too.
A list of the sources around me right now that are active and what their rating is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good
what
stuff.
What do you do with that information though? Let's say, so
well, I used it because I've had this app for about 4 years now. I used it to watch the numbers go up on this and the numbers go up on the pandemic.
Well, see, I used it to construct like optimal systems of shielding of my bed space where I sleep, and also my workspace here. That's why I use lead foil underneath me. I have lead foil, which I've demonstrated is one of the most effective blockers. So is copper. Where I sleep is actually like an enclosure of copper foil.
Yeah.
So I'm not exposed to any extraneous EMF radiation.
You can buy online fabric. This is copper and nickel.
Wow.
You can use it underneath. You put slip it between the mattresses, and fold the other half up over you. You get 5 meters of it, and that's enough to cover you.
Yeah, I also have a dental lead apron, like what the dentists use, like when they give you a dental X-ray, or back in the olden days.
Protects you, shields you from the energy, the frequency.
You can use this app to find areas that have less radiation that you can hang out in. That'll be good for your DNA and your mind and everything.
Awesome.
And there are spots that I can't go in my building because there's a convergence of some frequencies. If I stay there for too long, I'd probably pass out.
You know what's interesting? I did it for all my buildings here, and it's really interesting that the hotspots are always like in the hallways or right at the entrances of rooms. For some reason, I guess it's the shape of the building, because this one's made of steel reinforced concrete, which is a ceramic. So, and since naturally nobody hangs out in the hallway, I guess it was maybe constructed that way on purpose.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I walk down that hallway, I start getting a little dizzy. Then I start getting like flickers and on the edge of my eye, and eventually it starts fading to black unless I get out of there.
Wow. So it really affects
What is that fabric glue that you were showing us that you
tilt over to the right?
There's a fabric glue that you use with is it dust from gold dust or silver to use as a shielding in your clothing?
You can spray the inside. I haven't done this one, but you can spray the inside of your clothing with fabric glue and powdered silver, and that'll give you some protection. I don't go anywhere unprotected. I always wear shirts that are lined with silver and underwear.
Wow.
Like I said, I have the dental apron.
I sleep in it under sheets that are metal, and I haven't been sick since I started doing that.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I haven't felt anything. A sniffle. I haven't felt off. Nothing. You'll sleep through the night and you won't get up and pee. That's amazing.
You gotta be kidding.
No, that's one of the first things my wife knows, because I bought her sheets as well, is that she slept right through because she didn't have to get up to pee. Yeah. Wow. I think we're being triggered to get up and pee.
Yeah, I think we are. Yeah.
And that interrupts our subconscious upgrades that are going on in our subconscious, because we have to come back to the body to go to the bathroom, and then it's hard to get back to sleep and get back into the dream state, or so it interrupts you. Yeah.
Well, just for your entire health, it's very detrimental to be getting up in the middle of the night. You're not meant to do that.
Yeah.
Because if you're inducing it, it's affecting your health.
But isn't that an ascension symptom right now?
But what's
around
weird
2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, people are waking up.
Yeah, everybody wakes up at
here, I'll show you.
3 a.m.
They are actually doing it to you. I'll show you. This keeps statistics. I keep unlimited. This has unlimited statistics you can keep. So here's a day. Here's yesterday. Okay, let's see what they did to us yesterday. So you can see here that around, where was it? So around 2 p.m., around 2 a.m., they didn't do too much to us last night. But usually what they'll do, let me go back, I'll find you one. Let's hit a higher day. I might show, So here you can see they like to hit at times in the day, like when 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. when people are getting dinner and dealing with their kids. And then they'll hit you again at 11, and then maybe 3 o'clock, 2 or 3 o'clock, they'll hit you again.
Excuse me for being ignorant here, but who's they?
The cable companies.
Oh, the cable companies. Okay.
Yeah, they increase the power, increase and decrease the power levels on a constant basis.
Even if you're not watching,
they could keep it at a constant base, a constant level. There's no reason for them to raise and lower the power levels that much.
Yeah,
that does not affect the transmission.
They must be doing it through the Wi-Fi, through the towers, because
it's through every device.
Because even if you're not watching TV or watching cable, I keep mine shut off during the day. I don't even watch it. But I do use my computer.
My wife has the same app, and we get pretty much the same readings, but we don't spend the day together.
Wow.
Interesting.
So this seems to be
Okay.
everywhere.
Yep. Wow. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much
Yeah,
for joining us.
Yeah, most definitely. Thank you very much, Max.
Get some
You brought
silver
a lot
sheets
to it.
and
Yep.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean
Yeah,
to cut you off, Dalibor.
that's why the shielding is like the best technique.
Yeah.
And I've tried all different kinds of metals and materials, and
magnets.
copper is the
Yeah.
best, and lead is
Copper.
also pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wearing some copper is good.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Well, another one.
See you next week. See you next week. We're going to level up together next week.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Much love. Appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
Much love.
Thank you, chat room. Much love.
Bye.
Bye-bye.